If you love Thai curry, you need to know about this one, my friends. This is my very special Thai jungle curry. Okay friends, this is a really special one because this is the Thai curry that I learned how to make in my mum's village in Thailand. Her auntie taught me how to make this one, and it is fiery and hot and really awesome, and I really want you guys to be able to make it at home. So we're going to start off talking about the chilies. These are the dried chilies that you should be using. They're kind of the large dried ones. They're not really spicy, but what you do need to do is soak them in some hot water for about 15 minutes or so. That's going to help them to soften up, make things a lot easier when we want to blend them, or pound them in this case. So you want to squeeze that water out, but save that water. Don't throw that water away because we're going to use it later on. So jungle curry, how is it different to other curries? Well, mainly jungle curries don't contain coconut milk. So that's the main point of difference with the jungle curry. With the jungle curry from my mum's village, I mean, there's, obviously loads of different recipes for jungle curry. But with this one from my mum's village, it's very kind of a bit heavy on the shrimp paste, a bit heavy on the fish sauce, and not too spicy. I think there's a misconception that all jungle curries have to be like super hot. This one is just a really beautiful, nice, spiced heat. Okay, so my chilies are going into my mortar. All right, so you want to pound these chilies down. They are a little wet, so I mean, don't go too heavy at the start. You'll get chili juice everywhere. Just lightly encourage some bruising. So once you've got the chilies to a kind of rough paste, they will continue to break down as we go along. Then we're going to add in our next ingredient. So I'm going to go in now with some galangal. Now, if you can get a hold of dried galangal and reconstitute it, if it's a bit hard for you to get fresh, then you can do that as well. That's a good option. Now you can obviously do this in a blender, but I do find that sometimes when I'm in the mood to do this by hand, you get a really beautiful texture with a hand pounded curry paste. It's something really special. It's obviously the way my auntie in the village would make it because she doesn't use a blender. So I'm kind of doing it, for her in that vein.
Auntie's name. Want to give her a shout out?
There's no way. I don't even think they have Wi-Fi in the village. So Auntie Teal, but I mean, I don't even know if she has a phone. She wouldn't know what YouTube was. She'd be like, internet, what? No, that's not the way she talks, by the way. So next up is lemongrass. Now for those of you who really want to get into Thai cooking, a lot of these ingredients freeze really well. So I will often keep lemongrass, galangal, ginger, kaffir lime leaves, all of those things that I use a lot for my Thai cooking freeze really well. So if you can get a hold of these things, then keep a little stash. Okay, so next is shallots. And I want some garlic as well. Just excuse my big elephant garlic. Like literally, look at this, it's massive. But I'm only using one clove obviously, but you guys use a few more if you've got regular sized garlic. Now I also need some coriander roots here. Now you'll notice I'm taking the time to finely chop and pound each ingredient separately. If you try to put everything in all at once, it's just going to take you forever and there will be this massive mess of overflowing stuff. So there is always method to the madness. All right, so this next one's gonna be a little interesting for most of you. This one is it's an aromatic that is related to ginger and galangal. It's called, in Thailand we call it grachai. I think in English you usually call this finger root, but it has that, it sort of has a galangal kind of fragrance and flavor to it, but I think has far more of like a light, citrusy, a little bit of a medicinal kind of herbal kind of vibe to it. It's one of the things that I think really makes this jungle curry taste like the curry that I would eat in my mum's village. I obviously can't get it fresh here in Australia, so I'm using the jarred version. If you can't get a hold of it, that's cool, guys. Don't worry about it. You will still get a really beautiful jungle curry. But if you can, give it a try. Let me just try this. Yeah, it's almost like a little bit like a little bit limey, but a little bit like herbal, and it's such a cool ingredient. Give it a try. All right, that goes in. So by now you should have a fiery red kind of paste going on in here. It's a little rustic, doesn't have to be like completely sort of blended fine dining kind of situation. We do have a few more things we want to put in here though. So I've got some kaffir lime leaves. And then we need some spices here as well. So I've got some cumin, some coriander, and now we need some shrimp paste. So I remember when I was making this with my auntie in my mum's village, she added in some dried fish and shrimp paste as well, but I'm not really sure, I can't really remember what the dried fish was. So when I make this at home now, I just add in a little bit extra shrimp paste because you kind of want this to be pungent as well as kind of hot and fiery and that kind of thing. So a little bit of extra shrimp paste than you would normally put into a curry paste. And a little bit of salt too. And when you've got all of that mixed through, this is the kind of situation you're looking for. I mean, that looks so cool to me, and it's got that lovely kind of rustic feel to it that you're not going to get with a blender. But of course, I am a realist, and I know that not all of you are going to be making this by hand, so that's totally cool as well. So this is the kind of situation that you're looking for. So just a few more things now before we get started on cooking the curry. I just want some chicken pieces here. And then here's another little interesting one here. These are called apple eggplants in English. This is a very typical Thai eggplant that we would add to any kind of curry. It has a slightly bitter flavor, which I think is really great, but you know what? You could use just regular eggplant, or you could use some zucchini here as well. And then I've also got some green beans too. So now we're ready to cook. We just want a little bit of oil. Now add in your curry paste. And now this part's really important. We've got a lot of raw ingredients in there, like raw garlic, raw shallots, and I want to make sure that we're cooking those out so we don't have that kind of harsh raw flavor. Now I want some whole kaffir lime leaves here just to add some extra fragrance. Now you can add in your chicken. Now I'm going to add in some liquid. So I'm going to use the chili soaking liquid that we saved from earlier. And that's probably about a cupful. So we're not adding coconut milk here. So it's just the chili water and the water that's giving us our liquid here. Now I'm going to add in an extra couple of cups of water here. Because we're not using the coconut milk, it's the water, the chili water, and this extra water that's really giving us the sauce and the liquid. Now I'm going to add my vegetables. Now I just need this to simmer about 4 minutes or so until that chicken is cooked through. All right, so this is currently smelling so divine. This kind of thing really makes me homesick for Thailand, for starters, but we still have some final little bits and pieces to do here. I want to add in some palm sugar. And some fish sauce. Now the fish sauce thing, up to you. This should be like, the flavor you should get here is like spicy and salty and pungent, but you can adjust the level of, that saltiness to whatever is good for you. Now this is looking really good. The last final thing I want to do here, and I think this is really important, you want to add in some fresh herbs. So if we were in Thailand, I'd probably use holy basil or bai kaprao, but I can't get that here, so I'm going to use just some regular Thai basil instead. Oh, that extra hit of the herbs at the end is always just the best thing ever. Okay, let's get this out into a bowl. And there you go, my friends, my very special Thai jungle curry. It's as close as I can get it to the curry that my auntie taught me how to make in my mum's village. I'm sure hers is way better. Actually, I'm not sure. I know that hers is way better. But this one will do. Let's see. Well, let's see how I've gone. I love that big, massive flavor. Like, it is pungent, salty, spicy. Oh, that is such a good little kick. I mean, it's not overly spicy. It looks a lot more fiery than it is, but wow, the fragrance and all of the flavors going on. It's a really special one, guys. I hope that you can try it out, and I hope you love it just as much as I do.
If you've got any comments or questions, pop them below. And if you enjoyed the video, why not hit that subscribe button plus the little bell one, and that way you'll get notified every time I release a new video. Thanks, guys.